Welcome, everybody. I'm Norm Fogg. There we go. Okay, welcome, everybody. I'm Norm Fogg, Chair of the Commission. And first thing I got to do is I got to read a opening statement. Qualifications of the members of the Commission, the staff of the Commission, and any consultants used are on file with the town and are hereby made part of each and every application heard tonight. The guidelines and procedures adopted by the Commission are also made part of each and every application. Each application heard tonight is considered on its own merits and is not to be considered as establishing a precedent for any other application. Historic District Design Guidelines have been adopted by the town of Sykesville in accordance with Article 6B, 8.06a of the Maryland Code, and follow the recommendations of the United States Secretary of the Interior. Sykesville Historic District Commission follows Robert's Rules of Order, with the exception that the chairperson votes. Okay, our first agenda item, we had two sets of minutes to approve. First was November 23rd, 2021, and only Mike and Jeannie can approve these. They were present at that point. Oh, Mike, he was supposed to be here. Okay, I guess we can't approve either one of them unless Mike and Chad show up. So I guess we'll put those on hold. So I guess we'll move into the regular part of our agenda. The first is 2022-02, and that's the Downtown Sykesville Committee wanted to have a mural on the garage door on 7602 Main Street. And I think Julie is here to represent DSC. Oh, she vanished. Here she comes.
Yes.
There you are.
I am here to answer any question you may have. I understand that this application might be a little out of the spectrum of the things that you guys are ruling on, because it's a painting, but you know, in the name of good relationship and wanted to gain the feedback from experts in maintaining the historical charm of our town, we should stand in front of the commission to get your feedback or approval or answer any question you may have. This mural is being supported by the Nora Roberts Foundation, which fund organizations that are catering to the youth. And we wanted for a long time a mural that would be more engaging for the little one. So we decided to adopt a design that was very customary downtown Sykesville, because most of the Main Street businesses are displaying a flag representing that stretch of street on a blue background with all the beautiful buildings we have downtown. The artist provided the rendering from that stretch of street, trying to respect the historical palette of color. She was not able to integrate right away the mini snallygaster that we are trying to hide in the mural for the children to find, for the simple reason that the surface is not even. So she didn't want to make too early of a decision to where to put the snallygaster when the tail would not be connected to the head properly. So that's all I have. And please let me know if you have any question.
And this is facing McElroy parking lot, right?
Correct.
Yes. That's the new garage you just built, or?
No, it has been there forever and ever. It
oh,
was
that's
just,
the older one. Okay.
Yes, it's just, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That garage door is actually the back of a residential structure, and it's adjacent to the Fontaine Park. So the reason for choosing this location is that the sidewalk enlarged right there because there is an angle, and that would allow people that are checking the mural to take a few step backs without being in the road.
Okay. Are you going to have to put something smooth material over that, or just going to work with the planks?
So the property owner has already agreed on everything we're doing, and he has offered to smooth it and to prepare the wooden surface for the painting. And what we have added to the project is a coating that will prevent graffitis.
Okay. Let's see, I mean, for me, we've had other murals and I think they're a welcome addition in places in the town. And I think looking at the garage door, it should be actually an attractive addition to that part of town also. I don't know how other members feel. Anyone else have any issues? So, okay, you want to go back to the gallery view there? Okay, here we go. So if no one has any questions or objections to raise? No, all right. Well,
I have a question.
okay,
Since the garage door is a wooden, in that sense, historic door, it's been around a long time, I think. What kind of surface are you going to put on it to hold the mural? What kind of material are you going to use to?
So you're absolutely right. It's part of an historical structure and in a historical district. And it's why the rendering of the artist, the mock-up of the artist was not complete. The goal is not to add anything on the door, is to prep it for the walk and to maybe fill out the gaps that would be too big and would create a crack in the design. But we won't add anything to it that would change the look of the historical door as is. So it's more of a prepping job. And my understanding is that it's including sanding and adding of a specific primer. Then if need, some of the larger crack would have to be filled. We have not seen any just yet, but last time we did an inspection, but that was 2 years ago as we started looking at it. So I don't know if the weather has created conditions that would make us have to fill those cracks. But besides that, there's no desire to alter the historical structure as is.
that okay with you, Richard?
Well, in order to create a surface, in order to paint on, you're going to have to come up with some kind of a treatment to go over top of the wood. I can't imagine. Right? You're not going to go right on the wood, or that's going to make it pretty vulnerable to weather and cracking and whatever. That was my interest, as to what material they're going to use over the wood to make it a
Durable.
Well, an acceptable surface to paint on, to do the mural on.
From the artist standpoint, it was mostly prepping and sanding and adding a primer that's made for the paint that she has selected. I think from on the standpoint of durability and looks, the fact that we now have to be concerned about graffitis has made us consider adding a special coating, which will also improve the durability and look, because it will hold everything together. It's kind of a thick acrylic layer to that will be applied on top of the mural.
Okay. As long as we know what we're getting into here, there's going to be a plastic surface over top of the mural of it, basically.
Yeah,
I understand what you mean, and it could be a concern, but I don't think that it would ever feel like a plastic surface unless we would go deeper in the resurfacing, which we don't envision to do. And it's why we don't know where the snallygasters are going, because the planks are not really straight or aligned or at the same level. So our goal is to avoid that.
Okay.
okay. Any other issues or comments? Oh,
I'm sorry I got him here late, Norm.
oh, that's okay, Chad.
So I've been working. Just have a question. What's the intent of the mural? I kind of missed that portion of it. Is there an intent to have that mural in the back? What is the reasoning behind having a mural in the back of the building?
Smiles. We have had a few of our projects, but never one that really cater to the youth. So even our scavenger hunt that we have for the Snallygaster is geared to an older population, and we're trying to find some things that would really engage the young kids. So the location for us seemed ideal because it's right at the perimeter of what we call our junior farmers market, where we hold all the activities during the summer. It has a stretch of sidewalk that would allow the user to take 3 step backs without being in traffic. And here is the scoop of the night. We're also releasing a plush animal of the Snallygaster. 500s are coming in town. So we're trying to maintain foot traffic and offering to the children something fun to do and some things that will make them remember downtown Saxville.
Okay.
I think I might decorate that part of the parking lot. We do have the well tank that's decorated, but the pig down further, and so it's just kind of, it seems to be a continuation of other artwork down there. So
Absolutely, and you may have noticed that Sir Hamlet honks a lot, because that's his name, was the victim of graffiti. And just so you know, we always budget for maintenance to our art projects. So it's going to be on April 1st, all fixed up and also added with that anti-graffiti coating.
oh, I didn't know about that. Okay. Okay, any other questions, comments? I'll move then that we approve the application 2022-02, the mural on the garage door at 7602 Main Street, with the coating and prep work that was described.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Any? Okay, the approval's made. So approved. Thanks.
Thank you so much for being supportive of all the things we do. It's really a pleasure working with you.
And same here. Okay.
Have
All
a
right,
good
thanks
night.
a lot, Julie.
Bye.
Okay, I will just continue with the agenda on the number 2 is, well, actually there was 2 and 3. Both are kind of combined together, but I think we'll do 2203, which starts at this, which is a replacement of windows and a door at the 7543 Main Street, which was the old firehouse building. And so I think we have some supporting documents. I see a couple of people here to represent the firehouse, the application. So I guess, are you going to do speaking, Karen? Or? Who wants to represent the firehouse, the work, the application? What is a description of the work and
it looks
Karen,
like
are you
maybe,
trying to unmute? I think she's trying to unmute her
okay.
screen.
So scroll down from the top and just kind of use your finger on the top edge, and there should be an
There
unmute
she
button.
goes.
There you go.
There we go.
Okay, thank you.
So thank you, Norman, and the Historic District Commission. So on behalf of Carhart and the old firehouse building, we're here, as well as Aaron Puckett and Sturgill Financial Group, to support our request. The first application, the reason that there are 2 is for the front facade of the building, for window and door replacements and the addition of an awning across the front of the building.
Okay. I don't know if you want to put the application drawings up, Carrie, or at this point. picture of the building, I guess maybe might be the,
So just to explain what you're looking at, what I was trying to depict was that there would be trim and the windows and the trim of the door and the picture windows in the front. We're not changing shape or size, but we are continuing with an 8 grill lights on the windows, similar to what is there now outside. And because there's some custom nature to the windows, I'm trying to give you pictures from the Anderson pamphlet of what they would look like. And we're replacing the windows or asking for the request and permission to do that because of the need. They are in bad condition and sorely need to be replaced.
did you find the facade of the firehouse for us? I think probably, yeah, better to look at that.
The current windows in place, are they steel windows?
I believe they are wood. They're steel, I'm sorry. I believe that the one replacement window that had been replaced on the side upstairs has wood framing to it, which is also rotten.
So just curious, what is the condition of the steel windows upside? Are they dilapidated or in need of repair, or is that something that could be repaired instead of replaced?
So Chad, I believe it is, who's speaking
It
to
is.
me.
Mhm.
Inside, and you can kind of see it through this picture, we have plastic covering these windows on the inside. Because without that plastic, you can feel the air coming through.
Sure, they're single pane glazed. I know what they are. Mhm.
Okay, so I don't think that repair is possible, given the condition and the age of them.
Are they operable whatsoever, those windows that we're looking at on the screen
No,
currently?
they do not open at all. The only
Okay.
window that opens upstairs is on the side, on the townhouse side. It is the second window back. That one does open. I feel certain when that was probably put in probably for fire safety reasons and replaced as a window that opens. But that window, which has some vinyl, not steel, is also in very bad condition. And again, you can feel air coming through it. It is, they're just very deteriorated.
And did you say in affirmative that these are steel windows? I'm sorry, I didn't.
Yes.
They are, okay.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with those windows.
Judy.
they-
Janine is.
And a while ago, they were leaking very badly, so.
So is your intention to replace the windows with an operable window for these 4 windows that we're looking at on the elevation?
Well, we certainly defer to the Historic District Commission. Ideally, when we get to the second application, I thought maybe it would be prudent that some of those windows, the 9 windows that traverse the side and the parking lot entrance to this building, would be operable windows, but not these 4 front windows.
Okay.
That aesthetically, I would envision that they would look very similar to what is currently there. They would be aluminum coated. They would be 8 grill lights with the grill on the outside of the window.
So are you doing the lower windows as well, Nick, on each side of the door or just the upper 4?
So the lower, we again are not changing the size, but a lot of the framing that you're looking at on those picture windows is wood. That the framing, they would be replaced, as well as the double doors in the front. And again, I believe it would be aluminum coated framing material. Again, dark bronze, most likely as the kind of color scheme. What you're looking at now is painted like a dark green framing, but that is wood on the outside. And again, is in poor condition.
What are the guidelines about replacing wood with aluminum?
Okay, I've been reading this, and these windows, I'm sure must have been, are not the originals. They apparently have been added prior to the formation of the Historic District Commission, is my guess. They're not conforming windows for the Historic District on the Main Street. We would, the exterior, well, metal, the coated metal is not recommended in the guidelines at all. And the grills, so the grills are also metal. At least I think most of the windows that have been replaced along Main Street have been wood windows. if I'm not mistaken.
I'd probably disagree with that, Norm. For the firehouse here, I think the steel windows were actually the actual windows that were installed in this building when it was built. I do think they were
Okay.
probably originally built with steel windows. Steel windows currently are very, very, very expensive to replace with like
Right.
in like manner. They
Right.
can be replaced, and storm windows could be added to the inside frame to mitigate any of the draft issues that they're talking about. So I think there is a case to be made for that these windows are historic relevance to the project. And I
Okay.
think we might think about just these 4 windows, the steel windows. We might anticipate like deep diving into these windows a little bit more and seeing if they are, if we can find any like historic photos or anything of the site to make sure that these are in fact original windows. I mean, on projects that I'm working on currently, these windows are very expensive to replace. So I'd hate to see them be replaced with either a vinyl or aluminum window. I know the efficiency is probably greater on the window being replaced, but there's also ways around it to mitigate some of those issues that they're speaking of.
Okay.
Do you have any information for me about mitigating the lead paint that's on those windows?
Yeah, I mean, the windows could be taken out and they can be brought somewhere and sandblasted so that the lead paint is removed from the window system and then powder coated and then reglazed. That wouldn't probably be an issue. I know a couple actually people that do that sort of work. And then, like I said, a window insert could be inserted inside, which would be a high efficiency glazing system.
Well, and we know the windows on the bottom next to the door, that's where the firehouse had the opening, isn't it?
Correct.
So that's not original at all.
That's right. That's right.
No,
Right,
the
there was
windows
garage.
down below are not original. I think Bruce Greenberg had replaced one of those when we were a tenant there.
I mean that they put that in after the firehouse left. So that was
Sure.
I believe that was just the opening to get the fire trucks out.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So the bottom windows, are they wood framed?
Yeah.
Yes, I believe that they are.
Okay, so they're wood framed and no metal.
Correct.
Okay, got that.
And what is the window you're proposing for those openings there?
Where the picture windows are,
Yeah, correct.
replacement of a picture window there with a frame that would be aluminum coated.
Okay.
Framing.
Probably like a storefront framing system or something, probably in that area.
There was in the application, Carrie, I don't know if you can find it, but a picture of a door. I think it was from Sykesville, another project. There you go.
Yeah,
And
it's
so what I'm
storefront.
trying to say there is we're not gonna make the door larger with a highlight at the top, but that it would look similar to that kind of frame.
Mhm. Is the finish on the doors anodized or painted? Do you know offhand?
I believe that it is painted.
Okay, good. Just make sure when you do purchase those doors, you ask for a 2-coat like Kynar painted system. Anodized scratches real easy and the finish won't last long. So a painted system is better.
Got it.
So maybe we can discuss each element individually. Would that work?
I
Yeah,
believe
that'd be a
so.
good idea.
So we can discuss, because I think there's different resolutions to each one of these parts. So should we start with the windows on top of the facade, the front 4?
Yeah, why don't we go back to those and get that resolved?
It
So
would be
Chad,
nice.
you're,
So I think it'd be nice if we had I know we have an archive picture somewhere of this fire station showing the existing conditions, what it was. And I'd like to maybe put these 4 windows on hold for this situation until we find that picture to find out if these windows are in existing condition. If the windows aren't in existing condition, I don't have a problem with switching it out for the Anderson window system that you're looking for, as long as it follows the guidelines that we have. But if it is an existing window system that is relevant to the existing building from the historic data, I think we need to like look back over that and see what our choices are for those windows. Does that make sense?
I would agree. I think that that's a major feature of that building. So if those are the original windows, if they're not, they've been there a very long time.
Yeah,
It would be nice to keep that feature if possible, depending on the condition of the windows there.
I mean, obviously the formstone on the front of the building has been added at some point. So, like I said, if we could find the historic pictures or something, and I know we have it in our archive somewhere, we just need to dig it up.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going off of a picture from 1999 that's in the Sykesville Past and Present Walking Tour, where it actually shows a window air conditioner in the front of the building in the second window.
Yeah, that was there when my business was up there, the air conditioner. But then he replaced all the air conditioning. He put an interior system in sometime in 2008, I think, something like that.
so that went through one of the panes rather than, since that's a
It's in the
building
lower
window.
first grid. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how they
Nothing
did
either.
that. I don't know, because
Interesting.
in my recollection, those front windows did open, but I can't see it right now.
Yeah.
Well, given that they're covered with plastic, I can't say that I can tell you from the inside what, they look, but I don't think they have any working opening mechanism.
It didn't work very well, if I recall correctly.
Okay.
So you're saying that those windows have lead paint on them that have to be removed? Is that was brought up? Related windows we were talking about,
Have it all.
and they were going to be removed to have the lead paint removed? Did I get twisted around mentally here, or is that what?
No, you're correct. So obviously it can be tested to see if it is lead paint. First, we need to find out if they're historic significant windows in the first place. If they're not,
Yeah.
like I said, that's a different story. But if they are historic significance, we should have the windows tested. It's an easy little scraping kit to
Right.
see if it has asbestos. If it does have asbestos, there is mitigation process where you can remove the windows, have it sandblasted down to original metal, and have it primed and powder coated back to original finish.
That's what I was thinking. If they have to be removed to have that done, then maybe the repair could be affected as well, so they'd be usable.
Okay, so let me have Marvin Miller join us as well, because he's done the work upstairs, and he is saying that they can't be removed and put back in because they're inlaid into the concrete in that
Ooh,
box. He's not signed on separately. He is here with me.
Hey, everybody.
Anyway,
So So, I don't know how we'd be able to remove them and put them
Right.
back in.
So I'm pretty sure they're the original windows because they are inlaid into the block when they built the building. So there's no removing them without destroying them.
Okay,
Also, there's pieces missing, like the centers of those windows used to pivot. That was the opening mechanism. The 4 lights in the middle used to pivot and they would open. But most of those, or at least some of those, are deteriorated to the point there's not much metal left. So you couldn't remove them without destroying the block to get them out. Even if you could remove the glass panes and sandblast them, they're going to require pieces of metal to be re-welded in there, maybe some machining. We're talking about a significant effort put forth to try to make those windows work. I don't think it's really feasible or practical at this point. But I'm sure that they were the original windows.
Mhm.
And to replace the windows with the windows we're talking about, they'll have the grids exactly like that on the outside of the glass. I don't think anybody would really notice. You would have to be pretty sharp to notice, I think.
Yeah, it's true.
But yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to fix those windows even. And I love a project. I would love to see if I could I wanted to try and save one of those windows, trying to save the best one. I was going to use it inside the firehouse, but I wasn't sure if I would even get one out without having to destroy them. Because I'm guessing when they laid those blocks, the blocks had grooves in them. And then that slid those windows down into that groove before they put the next row and the lintels on top.
Mm.
And some of those, the pieces are missing out of them. Maybe where they put air conditioners in or stuff, they've actually knocked some of those metal pieces are actually been knocked out. And some others are very, very thin. There's not much left of them. I don't. There was one, I think we had one that would partially open, but then it also would not close all the way. That's in the on the side of the building, in between that building and the next one. The rest of them were pretty much fused closed or rusted closed. So I don't see much hope for restoration on them. That would be nice, but I don't think it's feasible.
So just for my clarification again, if you can't remove the window, so you're going to leave the steel frame in place, remove the glass and put the other.
No, you can remove
Really?
it, but what you'd have to do is you're going to have to take the center of the window out, destroy it, and then fold it into itself to get the metal frame out of the block. So you can do it, but you're going to have to remove the center of the window and then pull the sides in, fold them in, crush the window to get it out.
So let me ask you this. Are you going to have to install like a window buck inside the frame to attach the new window, which would reduce the size of the window? So
2 ways you could do that. Yeah, one, you could frame it, or the other, you could make it fit as close as possible to the to the rough openings of the block, and then basically cement it back in place. But the holes do vary in size somewhat. So I think it still could be done. And that was originally how I planned on doing it, is to put the windows right back into the cement and try and cement them in place, and then maybe do a little wood framing on the inside to secure them.
Norm, what does our guideline say about replacing windows? Does it say anything about replacing in kind, or is it, what's the interpretation?
That's how it's written, that they should be replaced in kind as close to the original as possible. And if it has to be totally replaced, then to replace it so that it looks like it with the same materials or as close as you can get to the same materials. That's sort of a loose interpretation, but let's see, page 21. They basically maintain and repair original location, design, sash, light configuration, other important character defining elements of the windows in the front, side, and rear facades visible. If not possible, replacement windows should duplicate original and design material, sash, and light configuration as closely as possible. And this is a contributing building, I believe. There's a difference between non-contributing and contributing. The next one is inappropriately designed non-original windows should be replaced with appropriately designed ones, but that's apparently not, that's what I was thinking, but this is not the case, so that's out. Shutters, awnings. Yes, that's pretty much it. The storm windows should replace, as close as possible the windows in size and profiles. Clear glass only should be used. That's gist of it. I think the first couple paragraphs here are what we're working with.
Unfortunately, the way our guidelines are written, that would mean that these windows would have to be replaced with steel windows in the same condition, which is very, very expensive. I can tell you firsthand. And it's probably the lead time on that would be incredibly long given the shortage of supplies right now.
Well, it says as closely as possible. And I think since that's a steel frame and it's not totally visible, I think that might be a workaround. I don't know. Because the steel is just like you say, it's just very expensive and difficult to produce there.
Yeah, one window's gone. The one on the side of the building's been replaced with a vinyl replacement. I don't know if anybody's ever noticed that one, but that one's totally different than the others.
Are the other windows you're replacing, are they visible to public space, or are they, I mean, they're not visible
So
from the front.
there's 4 on each side. The 4 that are up against the building beside us, the acupuncturists and such, are not visible to the public.
Yeah.
Then there is one in the back facing the parking lot entrance next to the townhouse, and 4 along the side on the townhouse side, the grass and garden area.
Oh, yeah, okay, so those would have to meet the same guidelines, except for the one by the acupuncture building.
There's
we don't care
4
about.
along the acupuncture building.
And those, I think, they're not visible, so I don't think we have too much to worry about there.
Right. And the 4 that are visible, that's the one that's been replaced. One of those has been replaced with the vinyl replacement.
Yeah, and that we'd like to probably want to fix. So So do you guys have questions? I mean, I don't know, I think we're kind of left putting the ball back in your court about what is possible here to either restore or reproduce. I don't know.
Well, if I'm hearing correctly, the concern obviously is those windows that are visible, that
Yeah.
maintaining the perhaps steel frame of the windows, and whether we can, or the steel frame in the front window hole with a window that would look the same as what is there.
Right.
Unfortunately, if these windows were replaced, 20 years ago with vinyl windows, we wouldn't be going through this process. We would grant you, acceptable. Yes, that wouldn't be an issue. But the issue is that these windows are historically relevant to the building, and they have to be kind of, according to our guidelines, replaced in kind. And so it's a fuzzy line a little bit with that, how that's read. So what I can do is I can look, and I have a bunch of contacts for steel window manufacturers, and I'm happy to give them to you, and we can find out like what the cost associated with it is, and what the options are for the windows as well. And perhaps it's not feasible. Maybe we have to reevaluate these 4 windows, not the rest of the windows, but just these 4 windows.
Okay.
So the grills that are in place now for the panes, are they the same type, one on each side, like with a solid, with a single piece of glass, or are they individual lights?
Are you asking about the windows that are on the sides and the back of the
No, the
building?
front, the ones on the front, the top, we might have mentioned that before, I'm trying to remember. So you have, looks like eight panels, 8 lights, and the grills on them, you were gonna have a single, a single grid kind of grill in place on each side, rather than having them enclosed to glass like other windows. So what, the ones you have now, are they built the same way with, the grills on each side, like, and the glass in the middle? You know what I mean?
Yes, that's what we're trying to do. Yeah, we can get the grids will be on the outside of the glass, just like original.
That is the original, okay. That's what I was wondering, I couldn't tell for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, that was one of the things that was kind of important that we were trying to make sure that we could get the grids on the outside. I think that is going to be something very noticeable if you don't have that.
Right,
Oh, yeah. So the windows would be wood, the frames would be wood, the proposal you have, and the grills would be aluminum, coated in aluminum. Is
Well,
that
I
what
think
you're?
the whole clad of the whole outside would have an aluminum. Oh yeah, it's all aluminum on the outside. Cladded, so they'd be covered in aluminum.
But right now, what are the frames in those windows right now or around the outside?
the steel, right?
They're steel?
Yeah, they're steel.
Okay.
So. Okay, I
And
guess
just-
ideally you would, go ahead, Jen.
No, I just had a quick question. We're happy, Karen and I have worked very hard to restore the building and also worked very hard to make sure that it heats properly and it cools properly and all of those things. So the windows are pretty important. Those are client areas where we meet people. But of course, want to be very, very, take care of the aesthetics of the building and the historical nature of it. If for some reason it's not feasible for us to replace with metal windows because of cost and, those kinds of things, is there a way that we would have to appeal this, or how would we move forward, I guess, just with the guidelines? If everything looked good, but there would, I guess is what I'm asking.
I don't think we can decide that tonight. Do you, Norm? Like, I think there's some information.
No, I was just wondering,
Yeah.
what's the process? That's all I was inquiring, Jeannie. And, what do
Okay.
we do from there? Yeah.
Yeah, after this discussion, I guess we've identified the problem areas, and if you can propose a way to address them the next time, we really can't tell you how to, but we try to give you good guidance on how to proceed. But so if you can get, ideally,
think
we'd like,
what they're asking is they'd have to come back and ask for a modification
yeah,
of the historic district guidelines for this building, for these 4 windows, what they're asking.
Yeah.
That's what you would have to do, is you would have to file for an amendment or a modification to the guidelines for your building, and so that we could look at it and see if that is appropriate, the window that you're requesting in these areas, if it doesn't work out with the metal windows. Make sense, Norm?
Thank you. Appreciate that.
yeah, that would, we can interpret it, and I don't know if you have to go through an exemption or not, but we can certainly discuss that next time, and hopefully you can come up with something close, but if you can't, then we'll have to review it again so we can find acceptable.
And I think Chad had mentioned that he has some resources
Yeah,
to provide you so we can figure out, what's feasible and what's not.
But we're only concerned about the front right now. The rest of them, the side windows are all we can just move forward with what we propose, which is going to look just like those windows, but obviously they won't be steel.
Do we have imagery of those? Is that on this slide as well? Or is that on the next?
No, I didn't see a view of the other windows.
I do not think that I submitted a picture of the sides of the building and the back of the building, so I apologize, Chad. I can
That's fine.
certainly supplement and follow up and get that information to you.
I mean, it's a block away. We can walk down and see it.
Well, I
We do that
recognize
too.
that too. And the windows on the side up against the building, which wouldn't be as easy to see, match exactly what you're looking at on the other side. There's no
So
difference.
looking at this image right here on the right-hand side, which is away from the acupuncture place, how many windows are on that side elevation?
4
Four.
4. And one is vinyl, and what are the other ones?
steel.
Steel. Okay.
Still
And
in
what,
these.
and what about the back elevation?
There's one, and it faces the parking lot, and it is steel.
Correct.
And then on the acupuncture side, is there any windows on that side elevation?
Four of
Or on
them,
that? And they're steel as well?
correct.
Is there any determination about those, the 4 windows on the side of the,
So we submitted 2 applications, Nathan. One was to replace the 4 front windows, and we did it that way in conjunction with the facade improvement request, as well as the replacement of the picture windows and the double doors at the front with the better framing. That's not the right contractor term, but that's how I know to say it. And the addition of an awning in the front. And then the second one was for the remaining 9 windows, 4 on each side of the building and 1 that faces the parking lot, to replace those because they're all in the same state of deteriorated condition and need to be replaced. We were just making a distinction with the front facade.
So the other, 20223 is the other 9 windows.
Correct.
So the other one that we're
That's
talking
right.
about now is 04, which is the front of the building.
I don't know that I have the numbers matched up to the request, but yes, that
Yeah,
they
I'm
were
just trying to-
submitted as 2 applications.
Okay, so what we've been discussing is 04, Norm. Well,
Okay,
both of
yeah,
them.
my
Both of
agenda's
them
not
actually.
visible, so I was sort of flying by the seat of my pants here. Okay,
is there any possibility for us separating out the 2 large windows and door at the bottom as a separate item and come to an agreement on that? Or is that going to be on hold for the rest? Because it was included in the original, you have to consider it as a whole.
I don't see why we can't subdivide it and let them move forward with the other. I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
they're gonna have lead time issues ordering the doors and the windows for the lower
Right.
level, so I'd rather subdivide it out so they can move forward on that portion if they need to for ordering.
Yeah, I think it's in the sense of knowing that they are not historic windows, that it would be easier for us to manage this part and separate that out from the 4 above and come to a decision there.
we probably want the frames to match somewhat though, right? I mean, that's. Or do you guys think that's critical?
Are we talking finish? Because,
Yeah,
or are you
kind
talking
of the,
profile?
not the profile.
I mean, finish is subjective, right? Because we
Yeah.
don't approve colors. So
No,
I think we just make a note that we'd like for those windows to match whatever final finish it is with the storefront or whatever framing infill they use for these lower windows. And
right.
they use that decision moving forward, whatever windows they use to replace the upper windows.
Okay, can we talk about like piece by piece, maybe the door first? Is that okay, Norm?
Yeah. Yeah, let's do the door. So
So the-
you want, so the door, you want to keep the double door and you wanted to model it on the doors you submitted, or do you have a different door in mind?
It would be the double doors that would look the same as what is currently on the firehouse. It would not have the top light. We were not expanding
Yeah.
the
No
size of
transit.
it.
Mhm.
That's on the back side of the church building? Where's that?
Yes, I believe that it is.
Yeah, it's on the back
One of
parking
the,
lot
one of
side.
the, I'm sorry.
I think it's the back parking lot side, isn't it?
Huh.
Maybe not.
At the
But-
Methodist?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, it says sanctuary office, so it must be
Yeah.
the church.
so,
there's one on the side.
so you're thinking that this is very similar to what you would want to put in the front, your front door? Without the top light?
Correct.
Okay. Looks very similar to what's there now.
Yes.
Okay. And the
As picture
materials,
windows.
the
I
materials
believe
on
the
the door?
materials would be aluminum coated framing.
Yeah, probably have to be a fire door, right? So,
Mhm. Nope,
so it's-
it doesn't need to be a
Nope.
fire door.
Nope.
Mhm.
because it's not
Exterior side of the
residential.
building does not need to be rated.
Oh, okay.
Now, what I would say is that what you're showing in an image, if you could pull the image back up, is a narrow style door, what it's called a narrow style door with a tall 8-inch bottom rail. So the rail is a taller rail on the bottom as a kick plate. You probably want to specify that if you're specifying the door. You want an 8-inch bottom rail and either a narrow style door or a medium style door, which is either 2.5 or 3.5 inches on the profile of each of the extrusions. It's just a little bit beefier of a door, and it would probably last you a lot longer if you go with a medium style, because the original door you're showing had profiles that kind of replicate a medium style door.
Okay, that's great information. Thank you.
You mean on the current door there, Chad?
The current door they have on the building, yeah. The
Yeah,
profiles are wider on the side
Yeah.
than a narrow style door. And you see
Yeah.
the bottom rail of the door looks like an 8-inch bottom rail. If you
Mhm.
specify a narrow style door, they'll give you a 2.5-inch bottom rail, and everybody's gonna kick the bottom of the glass when they come through the door. So you want to specify an 8-inch bottom rail or a 10, 8 or 10, whatever.
Right. The picture I think was to submit like what the framing would look like.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's great information. It was one of the companies that we had gotten quotes from had done that job, and I think used it
Mhm.
as an example of what the work they've done before.
yeah, well, since none of that is original to the building, we can replace like with like. Is that right, Norm? Okay.
These are probably wood, right? But
They are.
They're
But I-
wood.
but
Those
I,
are wood, those are wood doors, but they're drafty.
yeah, what I'm saying is, I would have no problem with them going with the other door. From my perspective, because this is not necessarily a historic door, so I don't know how you guys feel about that, but that's how.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't have a problem either.
So are we gonna like agree in each piece? Should we go through each piece separately, Norm?
Yeah, if that's, yeah, because we're not going to be able to approve all of them, so
Right, right.
this way we can specify what we have approved.
So we're approving all 3 entrances on this elevation is what we're saying?
That would be my suggestion.
Well, the question is the hollow metal door on the right-hand side, is that door
Yeah.
being replaced with a storefront door? Or is that being replaced with a hollow metal door?
We're not replaced.
So
Are you replacing the two
we have
side-
not addressed replacing that door yet, the solid wood door.
Okay.
Okay. How about the one on the other side? Karen, on the left side?
So it kind of was an afterthought that we didn't address that, but ideally to match style, size, color scheme for the frame or whatever, I think we would look to and would like to replace that one as well.
Mhm.
The door that is on, I think you called it the left, but the solid panel door, which is in bad condition, and we'd like to address perhaps replacing it, perhaps with a light kind. But I think we might have to have a separate conversation with the town because that door accesses like the water shut off or,
Oh,
You talking about the door on the right?
yeah, the one you can't
That's
see.
just a piece of plywood. It's not even a door.
Yeah, it's,
It's delaminated coming apart. And it doesn't access anything anymore. It's locked off. So. Yeah, it needs to be replaced. It's an
So
eyesore.
probably preferable to keep that solid.
Yeah, I can see a hollow
Right.
metal door going into there. I mean, that's
mhm.
what I would propose. I mean, it's just a utility room is what you're saying. It's not an access to a stair or anything of that nature, correct?
correct.
Yeah.
Not the solid panel one. The one that is on the other side is access to a hallway.
The one, yeah, the one on the
Correct.
left.
Carrie's got it,
Okay.
right.
So, Norm, do you want to go through each piece, like the front double doors and then,
I think we could address all 4 doors or 3 doors as a unit.
mhm. Okay,
I mean, I think what the idea is that the door, I guess the glass panel door on the left and the center door, double door would be the same, basically the same design. And the other one would be left intact. And we're going for the wide frame, I guess, doors with the wider rail.
Here's the question, the piece of plywood is sitting up there now. Do you have intentions of putting a hollow metal or some sort of door in there? Because you're either gonna have to come back to the historic district or we can vote on it now. If you have a proposed door in mind or a hollow metal door, just a flush door.
I'll put a flat panel. Very, very plain flat panel door there, I think.
Yeah,
And
hollow
paint.
metal, just steel frame, hollow
Yeah.
metal door, flush,
Just so.
with just a MS lock or something on the front of it,
yeah,
not even a
at least-
handle.
At least as noticeable as possible.
That's what I'm thinking.
and that will match the colors of the frames of the other doors?
It's
It's
not,
The
paintable.
frames are gonna have to match, yeah. I don't think we can make it quite that invisible.
Right,
Those doors come primed so they can be painted any color.
okay,
Yeah, it's just a piece of plywood there.
So I think we have a direction, right? We're saying that the double doors, your entrance doors there are going to be replaced with aluminum storefront doors to replace in kind, the same condition that we have. There'll be a dark bronze painted color finish, and the
Mhm.
single man door to the left-hand side that access the stair will be in like kind storefront door as well. And then the
Mhm.
door on the right, which is currently a piece of plywood, will be replaced with a hollow metal flat panel door painted to match the storefront framing adjacent to the entrance. Sound right?
Correct.
You got all
Yes.
that?
so moved.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. If we keep all this in mind, or I'm just trying to think whether we'll make an overall approval at the end, which will put some on hold and approve parts of it then, or do you want to approve them as we go? It might be easier.
Let's just approve the doors first, and then we'll
Yeah.
talk about these 2 punched
All right.
openings.
Okay, so we'll break the, this is application 04, right? So we'll break this down into several parts. And the first part will be the doors. Would you like to make that motion, Chad? You seem to have a good handle on it.
All right,
Oh,
so
by
I
the
make
way-
a motion to approve that the doors on Sykesville Volunteer Fire Department, what's the address of the project?
7543 Main Street.
7543 Main Street is approved for aluminum storefront entrance door system painted dark bronze for the double entrance doors and for the single man door that access the stairs on the left-hand side of the building. The right-hand side of the door will be a hollow metal painted finish that will match the adjacent storefront framing.
Okay, very good. All right, any discussion? Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Okay, that motion passes then on the doors.
And then
So
the two
now we have
windows.
the windows, right?
Okay.
The windows, we can't really approve, make a motion to approve. We want to make a motion to postpone and discuss at the next meeting when we have more information because of the problems associated with
No,
replacement of these
I
windows.
think we're talking about the two lower windows.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. The two lower ones. Oh, geez, thank you. You're right. So the two lower windows. So we decided they were newer windows and not of historic value contributing. So they should be, I guess we're gonna, proposal was to keep those two windows, the dimensions intact, and we just replace them so that they will match the second story facade.
Well, it's going to be up to them to match the second story, whatever they make the first story.
Right, right.
Want to match the door.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would think that you'd want to match the door at that point.
yeah.
Correct.
So are we saying the same material as the door? The same type of material as the door?
Yes, Jeannie.
Okay. Norman, what are the rules on replacing something that's not historically significant or wasn't there in the original building?
The idea is to, I guess, try to match what was historical.
But they were never historical.
No, they
If they're
weren't.
never historical, that's but inappropriately designed non-original windows should be replaced with appropriately designed ones based on documentary or photographic evidence, but there won't be any. No evidence exists. The design of the replacement should be compatible with the character of facade with which it is located. So I think we meet that if the windows are, match the trim and material.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So are we saying the same material as the doors? The
I don't know
aluminum
if that's
clad
possible or not,
wood?
but that may be difficult. The trim, I mean, it's basically the frame. I think the door frame and the window frame should match.
Yeah,
My idea.
Well,
What
that's
we're
what-
proposing is the same. Westminster Glass is proposing to install with the same materials.
that are there now.
Same materials for the window trim.
Oh,
as was
And the
used on-
doors. Okay, gotcha.
We at a point where we can put this into a motion or some more discussion?
Were you proposing to put 8 light grill windows on here?
Not the front picture windows on the first story, no.
Okay,
That's only for the second story windows that would have the 8 light grills.
Okay,
Yeah, that's consistent with.
It
our
would look,
stores.
it would look exactly as it does now. It would just have the better quality framing, more durability. Again, that wood frame that those picture windows are in is not in good condition.
okay.
Like rainwater could come through when there's a heavy splash on Main Street.
Yeah, that I understand. I was just looking at the application. It didn't have that definition in there.
Can supplement anything that you need, Jeannie.
Yeah. I just wanted to be clear what you're replacing it
Certainly.
with.
Any other discussion? We got a final agreement here.
I mean, there's other cases of the same storefront system installed on Main Street.
Right, right.
So I don't think there's much discussion to be had. We're replacing a window system that's not historically relevant to the building. And there's other situations in town that have that framing system. So,
Yeah.
Okay,
Someone wish to venture a motion?
I'll try.
Okay, you seem to have it. We can amend things.
Okay, so I motioned that in reference to the HTC application 2022-4, in terms of replacing the first story windows on the front facade of 7543 Main Street, that they would be replaced with similar materials that are being used for the doors on the facade, which is wood with, I believe, aluminum clad, and that they be painted similar color as the doors.
Okay,
How'd I do, Norm?
I think we got it. I guess we wanted to try to match kind of the second, or kind of match the second story facade or windows in terms of appearance or material color.
Well, I think that's going to be a later issue, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
the expectation.
okay, maybe that we could say with the expectation that they would approximate the appearance of the second story windows. Okay. All right, are we satisfied with that?
Mhm.
Yep, okay, is there a second?
a second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, any opposed? All right, okay, so we've got the windows are resolved, the first floor.
Now the awning.
Awning, okay, that'll be what, application 03?
I believe it's part of 04.
It's part of
Oh.
04, yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, I said my agenda disappeared here.
Was there a picture submitted to that?
No, that was what I was gonna comment, that we would normally,
There should have been, go back here, there you go.
oh, that- the brown strip, is it?
How far out does it stick?
There are dimensions on one of the proposals. Let me get that.
Let me see. Oh, I see.
That, so it's setting inside like the inlay part of the building. If you go back to like the front facade, you can see where there's like an inlay.
Right.
Ah. So underneath that,
How about the distance from the bottom of the awning to the sidewalk?
I don't have that measurement, but I can get that for you.
I think that's
Clearly.
kind of, yeah, that's kind of important.
So
Yeah.
is this like an electric retractable awning, or is it unrolled manually, or
No, it would be like a permanent tube frame.
permanent tube frame? So yeah, what we'd normally kind of like to see is unless people want to disagree with me, is a rendition of what it would look like on that facade when it's open.
Well, that's what it is.
This is it.
That is it.
Oh, wait.
It would
I
only
see
stick
it.
out
Oh,
a few
black,
feet from the building.
I was thinking it was
Um,
something. Okay.
I think what you're asking me, Norm, is for actual dimensions drawn on the picture.
Yeah,
The
that would be
price
helpful.
quote from Baltimore Canvas has that it would be, 1x2, 1x1 tubing, 24 feet wide.
I think the issue is that we have a guideline procedure for how high off of the pavement that a sign can be.
Yeah, it needs to be
Gotcha.
8 feet.
So what you're gonna be looking at is with the bottom of the canopy or awning,
Then the valance.
meet that guideline in terms of height from the sidewalk.
Well, those doors look like either 6'8" or 7' doors for your entrance.
Yeah,
And then it looks like you have a soldier course on top, which is 8, but that's not, the canopy is to the top of the window frame. So I would say that canopy is either 6'8" or 7 feet off grade
mhm.
potential. And we're saying, our guidelines say 8.
Mhm.
Yeah, it does say 8. I mean, I see it might be difficult to install it higher because of the solder bricks and the facade itself construction, but
Well, that would be my concern, that it meets that 8-foot guideline. I think it looks like the lettering meets our guidelines.
yeah, the lettering, was it, what do I have here? Between 6 and 10 inches high,
Yeah, no more than 50%.
no more than 65% of that valance.
65,
inside.
yeah, yeah.
So
So
that's no problem there.
right. The only,
Uh,
yeah.
Yeah.
The only issue I see is at 8 feet.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
sharp looking. It looks good, so.
I like
It
it.
does
Yeah.
look good. Yeah, no problem. And
Right,
the
that's why-
material is canvas duck, is that the material?
Yes. One shed style awning.
It's probably Sunbrella canvas. Mhm.
Yes,
It is-
umbrella,
it's
exactly,
umbrella.
Chad.
Okay,
So the
Not
only
just-
issue,
The only issue is the 8 feet.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would think so. Does everybody agree with that?
Well,
Yep.
did we get a dimension of how much it protrudes from the exterior face of the building? Did we verify that? I don't think it doesn't exceed our guidelines, but just curious. Looks like roughly 3 feet or something.
Right. I think it's 2 feet from the price quotation that I have from Baltimore Canvas, Chad, but I need to confirm that.
Mhm.
It's 24 feet wide with a 4-foot drop. I think that means from the top corner down. The canvas is 4 feet in length, but that
Okay.
doesn't mean that it juts out that far from the building, especially
No,
with
it's
the
probably 3
inlet.
feet then. Mhm.
So it's 2 to 3 feet or 2 feet, but I can get that measurement.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think the
it's
only issue we
impressive.
have is the height requirement, really.
yeah.
Okay.
What I would
Okay.
suggest is tomorrow verifying that door height. Like I said, it's probably 7-foot door, 6'8", but if it's an 8-foot door, you're clear.
But we're looking from a little below it. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, you look like you're peeking underneath there.
Yeah, I'm not sure that we can confirm that with this picture.
Yeah,
So I think that, it needs to meet that 8-foot requirement, especially since it's sticking out from the building.
And it's a
Right.
narrow sidewalk there.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if the slope of that, of the upper piece could be raised or reduced or not. That would raise the valance, bottom of the valance.
Because it looks like you still have a little room on the edge of the valance, maybe to go up a little bit if you don't meet that 8-foot. But if we could get those measurements, that would be
Okay.
helpful.
What
Okay.
they would have to do is they would have to, instead of insetting it inside that drop back, they'd have to outset it on the outside face right alongside that light and move it
Yeah.
up.
Right.
So that's, if it doesn't meet the height expectations, that's one way around it, is they could just make it another 6 inches longer and then move it up.
Okay.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes. Aaron, do you understand what he's saying?
In the drapery install business, that's an outside mount versus an inside mount.
Correct.
There you go.
If we went with the outside mount, what are the guidelines in terms of where the lettering could be? You gave me a height on that. So I'm just want to make sure, are we going to be like too high for the lettering, in order to be the right height for the,
No, it's not the height of the awning, it's just the size of the letters on the awning.
Mhm.
oh, okay.
There's
Okay.
no problem. There's no problem with this picture in terms of size of the lettering.
Yeah, the
No.
outside mount is
Mhm.
not a problem. I talked with the people that gave us the quote. We just thought the inset looked better.
It
So-
would-
Yeah,
it
we were
probably
looking at
would
the
look better.
aesthetics.
It does. It's just on the high side of that sidewalk, you're probably under 8 feet.
I'm sure we are because those doors are not 8 feet doors.
Yeah.
Right,
Okay.
okay. So you just need to come back with us with that in consideration, I guess. Everything else looks really good.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can ask them to give us a new rendering showing the bottom of the canopy or awning being no less than 8 feet off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll have those measurements on the picture rendering for you.
And I have the measurements. It's actually 4 feet from where it's mounted to the building to the outside. That's 4 feet. But because you're inset 1.5 feet, that's why it's not protruding out that far.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, yeah, we have to have a 1 foot recess from the edge of the sidewalk.
Okay.
It can't,
Gotcha.
okay, that's the only thing, it can't extend to within 1 feet of, of the curb.
The other option, of course, would be whether you could, they could fabricate an awning that would be inset but 8 feet off the ground, which would make it thinner.
Yeah,
Well, we'll let you.
I don't know whether that'd be possible or not, but that would be
Yeah.
the other option.
I don't know that
Alright.
we even have enough to make it 8 feet at the low end of the building, but that's a good point we can look at.
Yeah, okay.
all right.
All right,
We'll have to put that one on hold.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess we resolved the first floor windows and the doors. And then we've got the issues identified for the second stories, windows and the awning. So is there anything else on this application we haven't addressed? I think we covered
No,
it.
that was everything on it.
Okay. All right. Do you have any more questions for us to clarify, or now that we're going over it all?
I'm
If
sure
we-
I'll think of some.
If we get a new, rendering for this, and what's the quickest way for us to get that to you? Because, we're trying to get our business open. I'd like to be able to get a sign there as soon as possible. And I know that the lead time on these things can be really long. So I'm just wondering if we can, if I send that to you, do we have to wait another month for it to be reviewed?
Norm, I
What's
think-
your feel? Yeah, I
In
think
in
we
the
could
past,
probably,
we've been open in the past for having a special meeting for circumstances like this. So I think if everybody's in agreement, I don't think it's an issue for us to have, impromptu meeting at some point to discuss this again.
yeah, it was our next meeting's the end of March, so, yeah, if that information comes in, we could certainly do a quick meeting to resolve it. It looks pretty straightforward.
yeah, if it
Yeah.
specifically addressed the concerns that we brought up tonight, then I think it's not a problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so just submit it to Carrie Cheney and we'll try to schedule a meeting to accommodate that then.
Thanks. I very much appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem. We try to help.
We do appreciate that. Thanks.
Okay. All right. Anything else on this one?
No.
Okay. Then, all right. Well, thank you very much for
Can I
your
ask?
patience in dealing with us.
We have the 8 window, the other 9 windows. Are
Oh,
we going to consider that at all?
I thought we were going to, well, you want to do that now? I thought they were kind of lumped in with the others. The
Wow.
one in the back is like a public facade, I thought, so, in the
Okay.
sides. I think they're all kind of in the same boat. The one by the acupuncture building, I think wouldn't be contributing or wouldn't be in public view, so I don't think we have too much to worry about that one. But the one in the back and the 4 on the other side, I think would be. I think.
Well,
would all be
there's 4 on the acupuncture building side, aren't there?
Yeah,
Yes.
but they're not in public. They're not visible to the public.
Right.
These are wedged in there. So I don't. In that case, they don't have to meet the same standards.
So it's possible for them to use the proposed windows that they said, or do we need to discuss that?
Well, we would have to agree to it, but yeah, it would meet the guidelines.
So we're splitting out 4 windows out of the
9.
9 on around the building, not including the 4 in the front.
Right.
Okay. So the 4 that aren't visible from public view.
Does that help you at all to have approval to move ahead with those 4, or would it make as much sense to wait until everything gets considered?
I'd love to have approval to at least get some of them done. That would be great.
Okay.
Right.
Then I think if we can be helpful in that regard, then I think we ought to do it.
Yeah, this motion 3.
So there's no consideration, Norm, because they're not in the public view. They're not on the front or rear facade. So they could go ahead and use the aluminum clad
Right.
windows.
That's what I would assume.
Yeah. We've done that with the housing, with the residential homes a lot too, so
Okay.
thing.
And that's 03.
That'll be, yeah, for 03.
So are we all in agreement that those windows are okay to use on that side?
I am. Anybody not?
I don't hear
Want to
anything.
get us back to the gallery view, Carrie? Here we are.
All right, then I motion that we act on application 2022-3 for window replacements at 7543 Main Street and approve that the 4 windows on the north side of the building, is that the north
Yes,
side of the
sir.
building, that are not in public view, be approved for the proposed windows, which are wood with vinyl cladding, and that they match as closely as possible the other windows that you have on the bottom floor. Would that,
Absolutely.
okay.
Yeah, aluminum clad, not
Aluminum.
vinyl, Jeannie.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say
Yeah,
vinyl?
aluminum clad. Yeah,
Sorry.
thanks.
I'd like to amend it to say aluminum clad windows.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Any amendments to that? for discussion? Okay, we have a second.
Second.
Okay.
Third
Okay,
and fourth.
All right, all in favor then?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, the motion passes then to install those 4 windows as submitted. Okay,
Thank you.
all right, good. So are we all set with this for now?
Can I
I
ask,
think so.
real quick, just for planning on my part, do you think you would have info on the windows in time for the special meeting, or I don't know how long info
I
would
think
take?
I think that has to be a regular meeting. Not a special meeting, because the special meetings in my
That's gonna be-
mind are
Yeah.
just for things that we've already defined and we just need a little more information rather than
Could be
something
the
that would be a
canopy.
whole.
Yeah,
Gotcha,
just to expedite that one aspect of the work here.
gotcha.
We're
Okay, I think
talking
I'm on
about the
same page.
awning, right, Norman?
Right, Donnie.
Right, okay.
Okay,
So Carrie, we'll get that over to you expeditiously.
Perfect.
all right, good. Okay, we have, I guess we'll go to my original 2 agenda items that we weren't able to do until everyone joined. So what I wanted to do is just approve the minutes for November 23rd, 2021, and Mike and Jeannie are the ones who were present at that meeting. Do either of you have any comments or amendments to that? I don't either, so,
No.
So
All right,
moved.
okay. All right, we'll just move that we approve those minutes, and somebody want to give a second? Do it officially here. Second? Okay,
You do.
all in favor?
Aye.
All right, okay, I'm trying to make complaints later. Okay, and the second set of minutes was January 4th, 2022. And Richard and Chad were present at that meeting. Any comments, Chad, or anything?
Nope.
Richard? Nope. Okay, I move we approve the January 4th, 2022 minutes.
Second.
Okay, all great, all in favor? Okay, here we go. All right. That, I guess that ends the official part of our meeting. So I have nothing really to present. I know, I don't know if you guys, I'm very interested, in following the planning meetings on the Warfield project. That's something, if you can all, I think the next meeting is what, the 7th of March?
March 7th, that's right.
Yeah, there's Zoom meetings, or at least they're accessible through Zoom. If you can
Well, there's-
join to look at that, it might be helpful to see the discussion, because it's kind of an interesting process here, and it's going to affect us, and we're going to need all the information we can to make decisions when it comes to us. So,
Well, and again, and Norm, just to clarify for everybody, what's being
Yeah.
considered right now by the Planning Commission is just a text amendment to the zoning ordinance. They're not approving a new site plan or a new plan for Warfield. But
Right.
certainly, if this text amendment goes through, there will be modifications to that plan, and would allow, and it would still have to go through the historic district to get their approval, and of course,
Right.
Planning Commission to get, final site plan approval. But, certainly keeping, having this board, stay on top of what's going on at the Planning Commission level, and ultimately the decision that's made by council is certainly kind of right in your all's wheelhouse right now. So obviously, if anybody has any questions about anything, I'm glad to talk to you about it. If there's anything specific that comes up, we're glad to forward along information if you need it.
okay, thanks.
Is there any documentation as to the proceeds up to this point that we could bring ourselves up to speed?
Yeah, I mean, we have all of those meetings are recorded. They're on our YouTube page. I can have Carrie go ahead and send out a link to everybody so that you can either watch those meetings. If there's any specific documentation that's been included in those meetings, we're happy to share that with everybody
Yeah, I know
as
that
well.
they submitted some documents that weren't in view of the public, so I don't know if they were public documents or not.
Yeah, everything's public. So there's been some letters that have gone back and forth from staff and, you know, the representatives of Warfield. We're happy to forward all of those along to the HDC.
That'd be terrific.
Great.
Okay. Anything else? Anna, do you have anything for us?
Nope, I think that Joe covered everything.
Okay. All right. Any violations to report? Haven't seen any. I haven't seen that neon sign down there to pottery shop lately, so maybe that's been fixed. I'm not sure. Okay. That's the only one outstanding that I was aware of. All right. Anything else? Anyone else have? Okay. All right. I'll move that we adjourn the meeting. A second.
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 Okay, guys. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.